Selection Sunday, it's like Thanksgiving getting us ready for Christmas. We are going to go through all the different regions. I'm not going to BS you in this video and tell you that I know or I've scouted Sacred Heart or anything like that. What I will do, I will run through the matchups and sort of focus on things that I think are interesting. I'm going to try to keep this video short and sharp. So let's get into this. So obviously, let's start with Albany 1, the number 1 seed, South Carolina, and they match up against either the winner of Sacred Heart or Presbyterian. And then also the other game at South Carolina will be North Carolina versus Michigan State. So that looks like a good matchup. That's an 8-9. Should be fun to watch. Then the 4 seed is Indiana that will be the other host. So Indiana has Fairfield. I think they have Nika Mule's sister on that team, who's also the point guard. And then you have Oklahoma versus FGCU Eagles. I just learned that. So good matchups there. And then let's go down to the bottom of it, that region. Notre Dame is the 2 seed. They are obviously the unlucky 2 seed to be in the South Carolina bracket, no doubt. Now there are others that got done over in other regions more, but we'll get to that later. But Notre Dame's the 2. They play Kent State, and the other one at Notre Dame is Ole Miss Marquette. It's sort of a tough draw for Notre Dame because Ole Miss, I haven't watched much of Ole Miss, but they would be a strong, tough team. Being in the SEC, then the 3 seed is Oregon State. So the game's in Corvallis. Oregon State plays Eastern Michigan, and then the other game would be Nebraska, Texas A&M at Corvallis, and the winners obviously play each other. One thing I forgot to mention with Indiana, just real quick, Mackenzie Holmes is practicing, so that's big news. So it looks like she's going to be good to go, and says her knee's feeling much better than it was last year prior to the tournament last year. Now let's go down to Portland 4. Texas is the 1 seed. I think Stanford was unlucky not to get to the 1 seed. I think they are better than Texas, but does it really matter because they're both in the same region of Portland 4. So Texas versus Drexel, and then Alabama versus Florida State. And that's tough for Texas because they lost last year on their home court to Louisville, and the winner of Alabama, Florida State, that's not a walkover. So they'll need to keep an eye on that. Then the next host, the 4 seed, is Gonzaga. They play UC Irvine, and then the other game at Gonzaga is Utah versus South Dakota State. If it goes chalk, then obviously it'd be Gonzaga versus Utah. We call that the Daryl Morey, you should be watching this game, because they're both analytic teams that take a million threes and shoot at the basket. That would be fun to watch. The players will need to ice their arms after that game, no doubt. Utah, that's a nice draw for Utah. I think if they would have chosen anywhere to be on the road playing, I imagine it would be that one. Now, I'm not disrespecting Gonzaga. They could obviously win it, but yeah, I just think they like that matchup and the travel, or that it's on the West Coast. Now, the 2 seed of that bracket, like I said, of Portland 4 is Stanford. They go against Norfolk State, and then at Stanford as well, the other game is Iowa State and Maryland. Now, I'm sort of privately rooting for Iowa State because I want to watch Audi Crooks and Cameron Brink go at it. I hope it's chalk and we get to see that, because it would be a little bit of a chess match because Audi Crooks is so physical, but Cameron Brink is faster, and yeah, that would be fun to watch. Now, I know commenters will say, it'll be Kiki Ariafen that would be guarding her. Probably so, but still, they'd have to match up at some point, maybe in transition. The other host is NC State, who play Chattanooga. So NC State's the 3 seed. And then the other game at NC State would be Tennessee, who's 6, versus number 11 Green Bay. If that goes chalk, that's a tough matchup for NC State. Tennessee's starting to look a lot better. Obviously, they lost that heartbreaking game for them to South Carolina, so they can play. There's no doubt. And if Jackson starts feeling it, they are a nightmare because she's just impossible to guard. If she's having one of those games, that's the big scare for teams when they face Tennessee. Will Jackson be on a heater? Now let's go up to Albany too. I think I might have said Albany in the first one. I know that's wrong. Hey, the ESPN presenter said that as well tonight. So professional commentators can do it as well. So Albany 2. Yeah, this is the one where the teams got done over. This is the region you do not want to be in. Unbelievably, Iowa is in this. I thought they would get like a nice little soft bracket, but they said they couldn't do it. So here we go. Iowa versus the winner of Holy Cross, UT Martin. And then it's tough as well. The other game at Iowa will be West Virginia, Princeton. If both of those teams are good as well, even if it doesn't go chalk, like Princeton's good. Like they've got Caitlin Chin who can play. I'd like to see that matchup. So I'm sort of rooting a little bit for Princeton to win that, but we'll see what happens. And then the 4 ranked, the other host is Kansas State. So Kansas State is playing Portland, the 13, and then the other game at Kansas State is Colorado, who's the 5 seed, and Drake. So let's say all those teams are good. Like Iowa, again, they did Iowa wrong in this. And then let's go down to the bottom of this region, which is just ridiculous as well. You have UCLA that is the 2 seed, and that's fair. I thought that they're playing California Baptist, and then also at UCLA, Creighton is playing UNLV, and then the other host is LSU, the 3 seed. Oh my goodness, they have Rice, and then thank you committee. I don't care about how they've done this region wrong, because they've done me a solid here, because I want to see this. They've put Louisville versus Middle Tennessee. My goodness, please go to chalk. Jeff Walz, you better win this, man. So, and that gives us the breakup game, Louisville versus LSU, the breakup match to see who wins the breakup. I did a video on that earlier. Who wins? Well, Jeff, it's your chance to win, buddy. If you knock HVL out on LSU home court, you will have won the breakup, and HVL will have serious regret. But if HVL gives you a smackdown, then she wins it once and for all. She made the right choice. My God, I can smell the video already coming. Haley Van Lith versus Jeff Walz. Here we go. I am originally from Houston, and my mom went to Rice, but don't you mess this up, Rice. I'm rooting against you because I want to see LSU versus Louisville. Don't you mess it up either, Middle Tennessee. The video I posted last night on can UCLA win the championship, which has done terrible, by the way, only like 1,000 views. That was for you, Calvin, the commenter that asked me to do that video. But that video is probably already outdated, because this makes it impossibly hard for them. Like UCLA has to take out LSU potentially, and then they've got to take out potentially Iowa. So just to get to the Final Four, God, this bracket is ridiculous. And not only that, like let's say Colorado, I could see Colorado making it to the Elite Eight as well. So this bracket is just ridiculous. I wonder what Mulkey's going to do. Is she just going to do the press conference? We play who we play and we don't care, or we've been disrespected. I know Angel Reese will come with disrespect, but I wonder what they are going to say. Oh man, that one's nah. That is too hard of a bracket in my opinion. Now the final one is Portland 3, and man, these guys got a dream run in this bracket. So Southern Cal, they must have eaten their black-eyed peas over the new year, because in the video, like I said, the UCLA video I did last night, I was wrong. Disregard it. Write in the comments. The best value in this tournament. I wonder if their odds have gone down. Last night, Southern Cal's odds were, I think it was 5K to win it. I think they were plus 5K versus UCLA. I think UCLA, God, my memory's terrible, but I think they were plus 3.5K, or no, I think it was plus 3,000 to win the tournament. But man, get on Southern Cal. Juju, you've got Juju and Rhea Marshall, and why not? But I'm not telling you to bet for entertainment purposes. If you were to put money on, that's who I'd put it on. But yeah, Southern Cal versus A&M Corpus Christi as well. Southern Cal has a good coach. Like Gottlieb's a good coach, and she's made the Final Four with Cal. So my God, yeah, don't bet, but if you were, that's what I would bet on. And then also at Southern Cal playing, you've got Kansas and Michigan. Then the other host would be Virginia Tech. Now they bumped down Virginia Tech. They went, the Florida State rule, like the quarterback for Florida State football was out. They've done the same thing here. Everybody knows Kitley's out. Hey, I understand why Kenny Brooks kept that a secret. Why get bumped down? They've got Marshall, and then as well in their bracket or at Virginia Tech will be Baylor, who plays the winner of Vandy and Columbus. Baylor needs to take advantage of being at Virginia Tech. Nikki Cullen needs to win. She needs it because she really hasn't done much since replacing Mulkey, but don't underestimate Vandy or Columbia. So if she gets upset there, she's going to start feeling some heat, I think, in my opinion. The seed of the two seed in that region is Ohio State. They'll play Maine. The other game at Ohio State is Duke-Richmond. Duke can go all right. I think you would think Ohio State, if it goes chalk, they'll make it through. The other host is number 3, UConn. UConn plays Jackson State. I don't know much about Jackson State. I read a little bit that they've made the tournament the last few years. That's about all I know on Jackson State. The other one at UConn, the other game at UConn is Syracuse versus Auburn and Arizona. That should be a fun matchup. That's a classic. Who's better, the SEC or the Pac-12? This will be a nice little game just for low levels to show what they got. Now, I think UConn won with being in this region as well because they don't face any team with a monster big like South Carolina with Cardoso or with, obviously, UCLA with Betts. I think they'll be happy where they're at. I think they'd feel comfortable. Well, it'd be fun to watch if it goes chalk, watching them play Ohio State and having that rematch. If they get the upset there and it goes chalk, watching them versus USC, Southern Cal, that would be a fun rematch, or not a rematch, but that would be a fun matchup. I feel like it's somebody they feel like they would be able to match up with because they'd have Aaliyah Edwards on Rhea Marshall, and I would think they'd put Paige Beckers on Juju Watkins. I would think that just because of her length, and see if that could give her some trouble. That would be interesting. I mean, I'm talking ahead of myself. There's no guarantee. UConn is going deep. I mean, they need to focus on getting by Syracuse, and then after that, Ohio State would be a big test if it does go to chalk. So overall, the big winner in the bracket, I would suggest, would be, I think, USC. I think Portland 3. Anybody in Portland 3 is pretty happy with their lot. And I would suggest anybody in Albany 1 would be pretty, well, if you're South Carolina, they would be happy with who's in their region as well. The big loser is obviously Albany 2. It's just Iowa. I don't know what Iowa did to piss off the committee. I think the committee said they had to do it just in terms of the structure. But as well, LSU and UCLA would not be real pleased with things. I mean, having to get they're going to have to hit each other early, and then after that, face off with Iowa just to make it to the Final Four. No easy task, obviously. But again, in my opinion, great job by the committee giving us Louisville versus LSU early on. You want your revenge, Louisville, for her leaving? Well, you got your chance. If you could beat Haley Van Lith on her home court at LSU, that would be very sweet indeed. You basically won the tournament. If you were able to do that, anything else could happen after the tournament, and you will have won. And officially, Jeff Walz would have won the breakup. I don't think it'll happen, but man, that could be a fun game. Very, very spicy. Now it's over to you. What do you like? What are you looking forward to? Your comments, your poison. What do you think I have wrong? All down below. So here we go. I'll try to respond to as many as I can. Sorry I was not able to do a live stream, but I was working. Have a great day. Good night.